Well, hey y'all, I'm Akara Reed at Enquire, branding and online education platform where fashion entrepreneurs learn market research principles from startup to renewal business phases. We offer classroom settings, community supports, and content insight created for you. Our mission is to empower ready to wear designers to design their growth by gathering valuable information to scale your business. So definitely be sure to sign up to our Inquire Learning Lab for a deeper experience, hands-on experience, and also just chime in on a discussion and throw in your feedback by hitting the link in the description. So if you haven't already checked out our previous episode where we learned and unpacked a lot of different insight on Forever 21 closing as well as bankrupt, filing for bankrupt a couple of times, not just one, for those who actually watched the video, whether it's a snippet or the full version. You learned a lot of stuff because I provided some research as well as I provided a various amounts of different research. So I wanted to tap in and inform. I wanted to tap into the fashion task at hand for the Forever 21 article because today's values are not yesterday's values. Just because you are down and out today, you're just starting, you're scared, or whatever the case may be, does not mean that your value or your business cannot go up. It all is plugged into you. So before we get started, I want to break down what category are you when it comes to the fashion cycle. So let's get into that. All right. So for this series, I like to bring on some groundwork, some homework. And since I'm going to be creating this platform, this education platform into a classroom-like esque, I thought it would be very cool to bring a little bit of that element to the free platform, which is YouTube and the podcast. So identify which phase your fashion business is in. So I'm going to break that down before we get into the task at hand. So when I say which phase or which business cycle your fashion business is in, here are the five, and here's how I categorize it. Number one, the first one, ideation. If you have a collection of ideas and no transaction has been made. Number two, startup or launch. This is a business launch from an investor or your own funds and still trying to figure out your audience, your brand identity, and the messaging while still in the red. And when I mean red, you're still in the negative. You have not made your money back, your investment into, operating and starting the business. Number three, growth. Your business hits a milestone by breaking even. Breaking even is when you're in the green, you've made your ROI, your return investment, and getting some recognition from your brand identity and start to expand or diversify your products. Number four, maturity. This is when your business has it's a lot of construction going on. This is when your business is stabilized with your finances and has an established customer base for returning purchases. Yet, it's very important to not get complacent. And the last one, number five, which is the renewal phase. This is when a business becomes stagnant in sales and innovation with their products. They begin to hit the wall and want to rebrand or renew or rebirth something or revive. That is the 5 business cycles. That is how I categorize them. I want to keep them like that. So that portion will be repeated for those of you who are new or just getting started. So let's get started with the first element. What omni-channel or social media are you planning to utilize in 2025? I want you to start thinking about 2025. We are already the 3rd month in. We're still in quarter 1. And it's a good time to kind of start planning out what you want to do, envision it, and definitely start planning out, putting together your consistent plan. You have a plan that you can kind of just throw on a wall, but once you start seeing what's sticking, creating that consistent plan, I kind of coined that for my up and coming designers who have no business acumen. That has been very effective. And also, what is the strategy and reason behind it? A lot of the times, people kind of just say they want to do something because they see other people and they don't actually want to put in the work and see why. And a lot of the times it doesn't work for them. Maybe because their audience that actually wants to buy their stuff, it doesn't resonate with them. And you kind of need to realize that. I know you want to sell and design and you're kind of stuck in this mode of designing, but you also need to have the analytical part of knowing what's best for your business. So this is what this platform is all about. So to make the strategy part easy, I'm going to provide you the elements of a strategic plan. There's various different ways for you to create a strategic plan. Everyone does it differently for different purposes. And depending on how intense you are, there's just different ones out there. I mean, you can Google it and you can kind of see, but I'm going to give you a simpler one, but also a simpler one that specifically caters to independent fashion designers. I work with fashion designers. I don't know what everyone else does and what their specialty is, but this is what my specialty is, especially since I am an active fashion consultant. I also do styling for my other business. And yeah, I'm just very active in the fashion community. So now that you know how I define the fashion cycles, let's move on to the elements of the strategic planning. So this strategic planning is catered to independent fashion designers. And the first element is the vision. So the vision is pretty much the business or the brand's desired future state. So that would include to define your brand or business long-term impact or identity. So what do you see as the designer, as the CEO, as I don't know, maybe you are the face of the business of the brand. What do you see long term? So you will need to write this out so that you can bring this alive, and it's definitely executed throughout your marketing as well as your customers and your garments. The next element is the mission. The mission is the business purpose and motivation. So you need to clarify your values and how you serve your audience. So once you have gone through the long term is 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and so forth. So with the mission, these are things that are present. So what type of values do you want to be the go-to brand for influencers and creating content creators, because you are going to be making mass production items? Are you going to be the red carpet type of brand? Like, you need to know what kind of value you are going to be setting. Are you the brand that provides great office wear for the woman who is transitioning from 9 to 5 to hustle to, you know, that transitions to their hustle or their side gig? You need to know what audience you are selling to with your products, and what values is your garment bringing to them. The next one is your objectives. The objectives is pretty much setting clear goals for growth, sales, and brand recognition. Now, this is a little bit different than your mission, because this is definitely more specific, measurable outcomes that aligns with your business's focus goal. So an example of your objectives, if you are starting out very new, your objectives can be having a strong online presence and creating an amazing experience. I think experience is something that a lot of people sleep on, but let's say those are the two things that you have included in your mission as well as your vision. So something that you can measure that is very specific with that aligns with that is garnering 1,000 followers on TikTok by Q3. If you don't know what Q3 is and you're a business owner, I'm going to politely tell you to go Google that. These are things you need to do on your groundwork. I cannot provide you or just spoon feed you like everything. So say that's a goal. That's a measurable goal, because each week you can monitor and see what is sticking, what is not sticking, what content is resonating, what is making people follow you. These are all things that you can look and see what's aligning. And if you hit your goal for before Q3, now you can set a new measurable goal. So the next element of the strategic plan is an action plan. So this is pretty much a detailed plan that outlines tasks, timelines, responsibilities, and resources needed to achieve the business goals. So this is pretty much just outlining your brand's assets, setting it up in Canva, preparing them, knowing where you'll be knowing where you will be sharing this, and if you need to spend any additional funds because you want to boost it. Maybe you want to boost it on TikTok, or maybe you want to boost it on Pinterest, or maybe you want to boost it on Twitter, whatever the case may be. But laying out these things, or if you are already an established brand and you want to outline when your sales are instead of just springing stuff, you definitely will better prepare yourself instead of, wondering what happened. You don't know how to document or where your money went. And lastly, the last thing is the rollout plan. I named it the rollout plan because I didn't want to actually say execution, but it's close enough. But I think it just kind of goes hand in hand with the action plan, but this just really sets stone on what you have going on so that you can pivot. So this is pretty much a strategy that outlines the stages. So I know in the action I mentioned laying out timelines and responsibilities, but the timeline is kind of just giving you a guesstimate, but the rollout is really giving you concrete dates. So instead of saying Q3, you can say July 2nd. This is right before the holiday, because maybe you want to have a sale on 4th of July. So yes, scheduling key launches, campaigns, and the growth phase is very important for the rollout plan. The action plan is just more so to kind of just edit out the visual aspects, and then the rollout is really writing out the date, what the campaign is, what the campaign product is, the purpose, the goal, and what you are hoping to grow from that. This really just outlines the stages of your implementation on a product, a service, or the product. So I hope you found that very helpful. I definitely created this type of strategic plan specifically for independent fashion brands because it's more digestible and it's not overwhelming. And for those who are new, I definitely want to speak to you. I want to give you this offer to challenge yourself for success on your plan. It's not just for people who are new at starting a fashion brand, but anyone that kind of just procrastinates and is a bit intimidated and overwhelmed by this. What I just provided for you as far as the strategic plan, it can be overwhelming with this and you just want to create, but this part is very important because you're not going to know what you went wrong. And when you do keep looking for help or speaking to someone, a professional, they're going to ask you these professional things, these aspects. And if you don't have it together, a lot of people are going to turn you away because you're pretty much wasting their time. So I want to give this to you. I want you to list specific deadlines for you to complete each area. So an example would be do the vision part. I want you to sit and think about the vision of your fashion brand for 1 week. Give yourself 7 days to complete it. So think about it. Give yourself, I don't know, 10 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day. Break it up for 15 minutes each day so that you can work on the vision for 7 days. And then once the 7 days up, work on the next one, the mission. So do that consecutively. And then after you finish the rollout plan, check back and see if the vision, the mission, the objectives and action plan is still in line. Because, sometimes we go through edits and we don't like what we put initially, because when we get to the end, we kind of have second thoughts about what we did, 2-3 weeks ago, and kind of just revise and then get started. So that is one thing. And then the second thing, if you really are a procrastinator, I want you to find an accountability partner. That is definitely something very, very important and can be very helpful for you to kind of be motivated. I'm not going to say it's a resolution for all, but it definitely does help for some people. All right. So I hope you found this very helpful. Definitely let me know if you are part of Enquire Learning Lab. Definitely email us back and tell us how you did, how you're doing, and if you completed it. We'd love to hear your feedback. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Fashion Task at Hand. I will see you in the next video. Bye now.